Good morning, and thank you for tuning into episode 41 of Soul Shine. I am your host, Serenity Jenny. I'm so super excited to be here with you. This is such a beautiful day here in Boardman, Ohio. I am on location today. I'll be at Salt Sensations. I don't know if there are any sessions left at this point, but if you'd like to come out and see me, I would love to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with you. This is an awesome day. So today I want to talk a little bit about Ascended Masters. There are so many of you who ask me what an Ascended Master is. An Ascended Master, there are many of them. They guide and help with the expansion of light on the planet. They're not bound by time and space. They came into an embodiment, as you and I would, through the portals of birth, and they walked their inner calling. So day by day, lifetime after lifetime, they mastered all the lesser things of the world, learning the lessons of life, balancing karma, fulfilling their earthly mission, and manifesting and becoming God in action. At the completion of their mission, they achieved the ultimate victory through ascension, their permanent integration with the light of their own true reality, which is the mighty I Am presence. And, they continue to stand ready to assist mankind and the earth with accomplishing the same goal, and will continue to extend the fires of their hearts until all are received into the brotherhood of light, sisterhood of light, however you want to see that. So Jesus is obviously a prime example. Jesus came forth to reveal the consciousness, dominion, and mastery that is possible for every human being to attain and express while we're still here on earth. He showed that the dominion of the Ascended Masters, and also proved to mankind that it's possible for each person to call forth his or her God self, that which you can consciously control all things human or all things third dimension. So let's take this into account for a second, because we have an example now. We know what Ascended Masters are. Well, maybe let me talk a little bit more about that. So there's a host of them, and they're tangible beings of the great light. They're real, visible, glorious, living, caring friends of old who have such love, wisdom, and power that the human mind gasps at the sheer immensity of this thought. Even they work everywhere in the universe with complete freedom and limitless power. So it's naturally available to anyone, and people would consider that very supernatural, if you ask me. It's hard to say, hey, it's almost like Marvel Comics. There's a set of superheroes out there, and they're just waiting for you to call them. Well, guess what? There's a set of Ascended Masters out there just waiting for you to call them. And, all spirit is like that. And if I could give you an analogy, this is probably going to help the most. That cord of the divine that goes through you, that connects you to your source and creator, also connects us all together. So if you would go into the library and want to take out a book, like let's say we want to take out a book on Jesus, we go over to the library shelf and we get the book and we pull it out. Well, when you call on spirit, or you call on angels or forces of the light, I would really prefer that you would work with the light, but at the end of the day, you're choosing. It's much like going into a library and selecting that Ascended Master that you would like to work with. So let's say Buddha. So you want to connect with Buddha. Whatever meditation technique, whatever you do to center yourself, to find that quiet space within you, I want you to just think about Buddha, think about the feeling of Buddha, and then call that energy. As soon as you think about that energy, it's like sending a text, sending a phone call, sending a thought out is like sending the vibratory equivalent to a text or a call. So you're sending out a connection to this Ascended Master, and that vibration is received, that thought is received as a frequency, and guess what? It is answered. You can also do this with your passed over loved ones and your angels, and this is super, super simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Sit in a space where you can just think about what Ascended Master, that you want to talk to, and they're right there. It's like taking the book out of the library. Check the book out. So, and then explore that energy, explore what you're feeling, explore, ask if there's anything that you want to know. Just be in a state of receiving and allowing. So an ascended master is this individual who, by self-conscious effort, has penetrated enough, permeated this dimensional reality with enough love and power within his own being, her own being, to snap those chains of any kind of human limitation. So out of this third dimensional reality. So being free and worthy to be entrusted with the use of the Force. May the Force be with you. I did not get to do my fun activity yesterday, but may the Force be with you beyond those human experiences, right? That's what we're truly doing. When an ascended master ascends into mastery, he or she realizes him or herself to be that oneness with the omnipresent God, like life. So all forces, all things obey the command because he's a self-conscious being, a free will, controlling all the manipulation of light within him or herself. So, Saint Germain's an ascended master, Buddha, Serapis Bey, El Morya, Hilarion, and we'll talk about the 7 rays and their correlating masters, both divine masculine and divine feminine counterparts. But let's talk a little bit more about these glorious beings who guard and help the evolving human race. They're also called the masters of love and light and perfection. They are all the word master, and that it implies bringing forth the love, wisdom, and power of the God self within. And I just talked about that on a previous podcast. So they manifest their mastery over all that is human because they have ascended into the next expression above the human, which is superhuman divinity, which is pure and eternal and powerful perfection. So each ascended being is the complete embodiment of love. So it's through this radiating or outpouring of pure and luminous essence of divine love that an ascended master is able to help those who come under his or her care or direction. And when this luminous essence has within it the highest force in the universe, it dissolves all like discords and establishes a perfect balance in all manifestations. So the ascended master is just a constantly pouring out of these rays of light and essence upon the earth, which helps dissolve the discords. And each ray does something different. So we're going to cover the rays in subsequent podcasts. They pour this love out freely on humanity on earth, and consciously people who are drawn to the energy, they just will continue to give and give and give and give as much as you ask. Truly, just like when we talk about any spirit, obviously can be anywhere and nowhere at once. So you don't have to worry. Like, you have to see yourself as worthy, just like Jesus. Of course Jesus is going to help you if you ask. Of course Buddha is going to help you when you ask. You have to know that you're worthy of that when you ask that, though, because if you don't know that you're worthy, you're not going to receive what you could receive if you saw your worth, because that's the whole journey. We come from unconditional love and we go back to unconditional love, and this whole journey is about self-love. So seeing self as worthy, seeing self as an ascended master, that's the point. That's what we're doing, because each master is one with the mind of God. The ascended master has the all-knowing mind and the all-seeing eye of God. From him, nothing can be hidden. Each master knows and sees it, all conquering lower level energies. We're like students in that frame of understanding, or that construct, because we're learning. And when you become an ascended master, it's like you have graduated all levels of learning. So, it reveals the state of, we'll say the disciples' developments, because we're following. We'll look at strengths and weaknesses, and then every time we incarnate, we try to address something. I don't know if you've ever looked at your birth chart, and we're going to pipe Mimi Clark in from the West Coast and do some really awesome astral astrology classes and learn about that. And I'm really excited about learning about that. But when we look at my chart, I look like, if you look at it like a clock, just for all intents purposes right now, and if you separate it in the middle, you put a line from 9 to 3 and you just cut it in half, and then you quartered it, so 9 to 12. If you look at my chart from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, almost all my planets are placed there because I came in with a lot of my placements in Libra, which is a house of service to others, and that's what I'm doing. So, I don't know what it looked last time, but I would be probably in the alignment with, it was not all in that area. I did not incarnate on my last lifetime to be in service to others. I think I was learning different lessons. So we're all on this path to self-mastery and knowing ourselves as God, as one unit with God through the light and love, and really just being in the state of ascension and vibing higher daily. So, what raises your vibration? What does that for you? Well, what excites your soul? There's your answer. And what excites your soul and what excites my soul? Like Eric last night, looked at him. He was our awesome waiter, super cute kid that just makes everybody's day. Mama Margie sees him all the time out here in Boardman. And I looked at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to get back to music. And it came out of my mouth as I was like thinking it. And I was like, wow, this is crazy, right? I see this kid for 7 seconds and I'm like, oh, he needs to get back to music. And it's pouring out of my mouth. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I love karaoke. And I'm like, oh, well, me too. And as I say that, that message is multi-layered. That's for me too. I recognize in him what I'm not doing. So in order for me to vibrate higher, I need to sing. And obviously I would need to heal my voice to do that. So maybe my buddy Bob at Rhythm House, we are going to be recording soon. So I'm excited. Or Paul, if we can do it in your studio, that would work too. So I'm going to cover I'm going to cover the 7 rays individually and the masters of each ray. So hopefully this was helpful. Google the Ascended Masters. Start making yourself familiar with them. Call them. Call on them. They are here to help you. Your angels are here to help you. You have project angels waiting to help you. If you could see how many beings of the light that are willing and able to assist you at any moment during your day, you would be absolutely amazed. Take a deep breath. You are so loved. You are so highly favored beyond any kind of human conception that you could have in your brain, which God love you all who come to me with very logical approach to this. But it is not a brain thing. That's an 8-pound meat sack on the top of your neck there. Works awesomely. Infinite is the seat of your soul in the pineal gland. However, that is not all you are. You are light, you are love, you are a beautiful, magical being. I love you, great big bunches. I hope this was helpful. Peace out.